welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is the deck that won Eternal Weekend Pittsburgh, played by Calvin Wallace. This is Mystic Forge combo. This is a deck that jumped onto the radar of people paying attention to Legacy probably about a month, maybe two before Eternal Weekend. We saw some killers like Juju Bean, who did top 32 the event, I believe, with this deck, putting up trophies and really iterating on the shell. I played this deck a few weeks back on the channel in my Eternal Weekend prep, and if memory serves, I believe I crushed all the Psychic Frog decks and lost to the decks that were not playing Psychic Frog in my league. And some important innovations came up in this shell. The main deck is pretty solid, like it's pretty clear what you're supposed to do, which is resolve one of these payoff cards and then kill your opponent with it. The one main deck innovation is this Candelabra of Tawnos that can go pretty stupid with Urza's Towers and Urza's Workshops. It also could give you double constructs out of an Urza Saga. Just one little piece of tech here in the main. But the sideboard innovation is huge. Calvin had 3 Besejus and a Portable Hole in his sideboard. I changed one of the Besejus to a Static Prison because Eternal Weekend had many copies of Mystic Forge in the top 8 and someone else was on Static Prison. I want to try this too. It's basically doing the same job as Beseju, but like kind of differently. Beseju kills stuff like Null Rod, or takes out a Chalice of the Void, or a Damping Sphere, or a Stony Silence. Any of these things that could shut down this deck, Beseju handles, and it's uncounterable when it does it. Static Prison does the same thing, just a 1-mana answer to any non-land permanent, pretty messed up, and it shouldn't take more than 2 turns for this deck to win once the coast is clear, so you don't have to worry about the energy. And then Portable Hole is like a Static Prison or Beseju that you can wish for with Karn, which makes it even more versatile. The green and white mana come from Planar Nexus, which you can filter a mana of any color out of. And depending on what the hate piece is, Mox Opal and Lotus Petal could do it too. Obviously, it doesn't help much versus a Null Rod, but if the Opal's untapped, you could float the green and then pick it off. But Planar Nexus is how you actually answer a resolved Null Rod effect. And this package of versatile and cheap sideboard removal basically cleared the way for the deck's only weaknesses, which were lock pieces. I don't know if I've personally had an arc so quick in Legacy of that deck is unserious into, oh, this deck is serious, into we should probably ban a card out of this deck. A lot of people are talking about Vexing Bauble right now, and the reason is the bad guys are using it. They took it. They completely took it. I am all for non-blue decks having the ability to fight combo, and that's how Vexing Bauble kind of reads on the surface. Like, you can cast this on turn 1 out of Maverick or Death and Taxes, and then your opponent can't play Lion's Eye Diamond. Perfect, right? However, Vexing Bauble is being used almost exclusively by busted combo decks. It's the linchpin making Mystic Forge viable. You know, Force of Will, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, all the natural predators that decks used to play. Now, like, blue decks don't even add Force of Negation or Force of Vigor to their sideboard anymore because it doesn't solve the matchups it needs to. Doomsday has adopted this. The Epic Storm has adopted this. You don't see this in sideboards of Greensun Zenith decks. You see it in high copies in main decks of Dark Ritual and Grim Monolith decks. This is not doing what it's supposed to do. It's actually doing the opposite, and this card is nonsense. But while we have it, and while it is relevant, I'm going to play it one more time. Let's get in here with the only slightly changed winning list from Eternal Weekend Pittsburgh. Introducing Arcane Rush Battlegrounds, a new auto-battler for the gamer on the move. PvP play uses other people's teams they had on the same turn instead of live head-to-head, meaning there's no queue time and no turn timer. You can start a run without worrying about the time commitment. The game is free to play, and you can get 1,200 in-game gold by downloading through my QR code or link in the video description. Play with over 100 cards from different races, each with their own unique mechanics. Use your gems and relic tokens to improve your units and give big in-match boosts to your team. Each match you'll have one of your heroes with special powers to improve your units. Choose the best hero for each match. You can see what races you'll have access to, so plan accordingly. I like playing with the undead, who keep coming back and getting bigger when they die. Defeat other players to climb the rankings until only one player has hearts left. Daily quests earn you more resources to upgrade cards, heroes, and relics, so you can win even more. Use my link or QR code to get 1200 gold when you start playing Arcane Rush Battlegrounds today. I am on the draw in round 1. I have a hand that only has Urza's Tower for stable mana. Yeah, I don't think I can keep on the strength of 2 Lotus Petals. Mulligan this. Oh, what does this hand do? Okay, I would have to bottom a Kozilek's Command, and then I would go Saga, Petal, Monolith, play Fleshraker, Lotus Petal, trigger Fleshraker, and then I would just have a Kozilek's Command in my hand. I think I'm going to go to 5. This still seems unstable. Oh god, come on, deck. I thought you were broken. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm going to 3. Oh my god. All right, well, I'm on 3. I'm going to keep a hand. We've got Nexus Tower 1 ring is a turn 2 1 ring off 3 cards. All right, I guess I keep. I'll probably scoop to a Thoughtseize, honestly, because giving away what my deck is pretty bad. Okay, here we go. I've chosen not to do a tactical concession, and we will try to win this game. If they Wasteland me, it's probably over. If they Entomb Reanimate, it's probably over. If they just play a Psychic Frog, I might be able to outmuscle that. Not a Wasteland. Okay, I do have 2 payoffs. They took the ring. That is the more reliable one for the effect that it has. Okay, all I can do is send it. Mystic Forge on the stack. A quick fetch. Beestorm. Alright, emergency meeting. I'll take that. We're in. Okay, Karn is a card that I can cast. It's also another 4-mana banger payoff. We'll see what happens this turn, I guess. Nethergoyf. Okay, so this is not the combo build. And they clearly don't have Force of Will. Double Goyf. Though they just want to race now. I'd love to see a Grim Monolith on top of the deck. The One Ring, that might be worse. Or better, depending on who you ask. Alright, the One Ring. Resolved. Alright, my cards are just resolving now. This is how this deck works, I guess. I am going to keep that Urza's Workshop. Keep the mana flowing. There aren't that many zeros. It's like Lotus Petal and 1 Mox Opal to rip off with Mystic Forge. This isn't the classic Mystic Forge deck that has like all 8 baubles in it. Wow. Mull to 3, get Thoughtseize, still win. Okay, deck, I take it back. You are broken. That was bullshit. Okay. We've got... What do I even do here? What am I worried about out of Dimir Tempo? Possibly Esper Tempo. I could bring in Static Prison. It's just generic magic card. Dismember could take some pressure off, but they're not going to have like Collector Oof. Am I actually just pre-boarded for this? They're not the Reanimator build. Yeah, whatever. This is my deck. It's going right back in. Okay, this hand is significantly more busted than the 3 that I kept the first game. Thoughtseize taking Karn is pretty effective here. There we go. I am going to be just gassed up on mana for life, though. And just need to find a payoff somewhere. These decks may have adopted Null Rod by now. Maybe I should be more respectful of that. Okay, if they daze right now, it would be kind of effective. But they didn't. Manifold Key. Untap. Or Glaring Fleshraker. Just getting it in. Haven't dazed me yet. Ding. I'm going to untap my Grim Monolith. And play Basalt Monolith. And now I'm Thoughtseize proof. Okay, I do need to find something to do, but that's what happened after I got Thoughtseized on turn 1. Psychic Frog, sure. Some payoff for the win. Grim Monolith. I will play that. Untap this Grim Monolith. I'm just playing it out in a way that preserves my life total off Ancient Tomb. And do I want to attack for 2 or have all my mana up? Oh, I used the wrong key. I don't get that option, never mind. Okay, pass. And they are going to have to jump the frog, because I just have blockers forever. Discarded Nethergoyf. Jump the frog. If they like Wasteland and Fatal push me this turn, then I'm living off the top, but I have a lot of bangers off the top. If they do neither of those things, I have a whole plan just ready to go. Ponder. Shuffled the Ponder. Nethergoyf. I cannot possibly care about that card. Okay, banger. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mystic Forge. Put it on the stack. I'll make you have the force. This is a situation where maybe I'm supposed to wait, get Vexing Bauble so they can't force me. All right, yeah, maybe that's a spot where I'm just kind of spazzing it off, and that's not actually how you're supposed to play this deck. I'll make a construct while we're here. And what is the best way to use my mana here? I'm just going to make Fleshraker unblockable and get my damage through where I can. Wasteland. That they found that almost on time, but I do have an unblockable 6/6 in play. If they jump the Frog, the Nethergoyf has no power or toughness. Wow. Okay. I'm going to use the Spawn to untap Grim Monolith. Vexing Bauble has arrived. What do I do with this? Probably just cast it is the start. A Vexing Bauble, trigger. I think my opponent is dead if they don't have a removal spell right now. I remember they could be at 7 right now if I had tapped my keys in the right order earlier, so that's a Blade of someone who is not super fluid with the deck. Consigned to memory, countering both of these. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, they did that wrong. They could have countered the trigger that makes the spawn. All right, that's fine. Okay, so how do I do this? I have 2 mana floating. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available. That is exactly enough to make both of my creatures unblockable, because I can untap my key with the other key. Do I want to put my opponent to 2 and leave myself completely exposed? They're at 1 card in their hand. That doesn't... Does that change the clock? I could just attack them for 6 twice, but if they're at 2, then one Fatal Push doesn't stabilize. I would take 3, 4, 5, potentially 6, 7, if they discard their whole hand, 8, 9. I'm not quite dead. Okay. Construct can't be blocked. Untap Manifold Key. Glaring Fleshraker can't be blocked. Okay. You're in check. Go. They could be dead if I had used my keys correctly earlier in the game. Wow. This deck is nuts. So insane. I mean, I hate this. I hope it's not viable for very long. But yikes. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 2. I have turn 1 Vexing Bauble, turn 2 Karn. The bullshit. Let's go. Another Underground Sea. What a format we have right now. Ancient Tomb versus Underground Sea, dual decks. I'm going to lead on Saga. I'll get that ticking. I even have Ancient Tomb to pip it onto Constructs if I think that's somehow correct. And here we go. Do you have Force Will in your hand? Do you want to discard 2 cards to deal with this? Cool. Yeah, Force pitching Murktide Regent. Murktide also generally not in Reanimator builds, so this is probably tempo again. It's really cool that there's a Hymn to Turok Mind Twist split card for 1 single colorless mana that every combo deck can play. Wasteland. I am resilient against this. That's mostly fine. Ooh, okay. I could play Karn around Daze next turn, or I could get Saga cranking. I'm going to play the Nexus and pass. If I had played Ancient Tomb, I could Kozilek's Command for 1 this turn, but I don't think that's going to be important. And you know how this combo deck has split card Hymn to Turok, Inkmoth Nexus, why would I say that? Split card Hymn to Turok Mind Twist. It also has split card Exile Psychic Frog, draw a card, ramp, etc., etc. Okay, X equals 2. Exile target creature with mana value X or less. Do I want spawns or do I want cards? I think I want spawns. What do my spawns do? They ramp Karn harder. Alright. Okay, I'm playing this around Daze. If they force me again, they're down to 1 card in hand, and then I play Karn next turn. Okay. Force pitching Daze. Well, I have force checked them twice, and they have Psychic Frog going. A Wasteland would be pretty effective here. That's not Wasteland. Kept the card, though. Okay, Frog has hit me. Another Frog. Okay, buy Frog in it. And I have too many cards in hand to successfully Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, what does that do? Holy smokes, holy smokes. Stop the presses. This might actually change everything. I just went from 7 mana to 10. Is that how this works? Sagas plus, or Towers +2, Tombs +1. All right, view my sideboard. What's going on in here? I could Portable Hole one of these frogs. I could... Yeah, unfortunately, I will have 2 cards in my hand at the end of this loop. So maybe I just get the Mystic Forge and start ripping. Okay, I'm going to see if my Candelabra resolves first. And they have 1 card in their hand. What are they going to do? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Untap. Might as well untap the Nexus. It can just tap for 1 again if I'm not happy with my investment. Karn. Get Mystic Forge, set up the win for next turn. If they only had 1 frog, I would probably get the Portable Hole and use that tech here. Yeah, Forge. Cool. That Candelabra is gross. There's a Pithing Needle on top of my deck. I could cast that and name Psychic Frog. Does that matter? I could cast this and name Wasteland. That's probably pretty good. Oh, if I name Frog, they might not even kill Karn. Okay, I'm going to try this. If they respond with a discard, I'll name Wasteland. But if they don't, I'll just name Frog and I get to keep Karn. Glaring Fleshraker on top. Okay. I'll name Wasteland then. And Fleshraker kicking around on top. I'll pass. Who needs Karn anymore? They have to put at least 1 damage, or they need to put at least 2 damage on Karn, so I can't make a wish, or they just die. But weighing like my life total against Ancient Tomb when I'm at 15, it's a little early to think about that. They do get to draw 2 cards. Is it going to be enough? They've used 2 forces already. They can't Wasteland me. A 3rd Psychic Frog. My plan was to win this turn anyway. All right, it's like Mystic Forge. Oh yeah. All right, Mystic Forge. I see you. This is good for 2 mana. If I play Saga now, I can like Time Walk into even more mana next turn. Do I need to think about next turn? No, I'll just use the Workshop now. Yeah, just more mana now is what I want to be doing. Okay, shitloads of mana. Untap. Play Fleshraker from hand. If they do have Force Blue card left over, then, I mean, good job. 1 ring. Off the top, Vexing Bauble, there's that one. Take 1. Shields up. That means Ancient Tomb doesn't damage me if I tap it again this turn. Vexing Bauble. Kozilek's Command. Okie dokie, Artichokes. 4 mana. Or 6 mana. Okay, target player scries X and gets X spawns. Oh, I can't do this because I have ring protection. Shit. Yeah, both of these target. Okay. Untap these things. And I'll draw a card with the ring. See if I can keep this going another way. That'll do. So dumb. Oh, this is an Urza land too. All right, I had more mana than I thought I did this whole time. Karn. Welcome. Mystic Forge can clear this card. Manifold Key. That should do it. Manifold Key can untap Candelabra, and then we're off. Okay, Manifold Key. And untap Candelabra. Sack 3 spawns to untap my 3 lands that make more than they're supposed to. Then Karn wishes for Paradox Engine. Paradox Engine. Trigger. And I have Kozilek's Command in my hand to cast. I'll just pick modes that don't target me. Exile target creature with mana value X or less. Exile X cards from graveyards. Psychic Frog. Nile Spellbomb and Force of Wills. Or just Nile Spellbomb. That's for 2. Yeah, that's the number. And it doesn't matter if this resolves at all, because now the ring is going. They draw 2 from the ring. Vexing Bauble. Wow, this Candelabra is doing so much right now. It's honestly insane. Use my key to untap Candelabra. I have mana, it's just kind of the hard way right now. I'm going to make a backup Fleshraker. Which untaps all my stuff. All right, cool. Well, I didn't sideboard last round, and this is the same deck. Have I changed my mind? And I could turn like Pithing Needle into Static Prison, just in case they're on a frog draw, or if they do board in a Null Rod. Okay, here we go. I have Workshop, Planar Nexus, that's 2 mana. Opal Key does not quite get me to Metalcraft for this or this. I'm 1 artifact away from lots of mana, but instead I have a little mana. Do I keep hands like this? It's also kind of soft to Wasteland. I'll try it for science. I would believe that if I had 1,000 games with this deck, I would not keep this hand. Scalding Tarn. Another shop. Okay. I'm gonna play shop, Opal, Key. If they want to daze or consign this key, I think that's okay. If they suddenly cast Entomb, they will have hidden that well in game 1. Alright, that didn't happen. Wasteland, sure. I led on my second best land. Ooh, mana. Are they gonna Null Rod me? They are. Okay. We'll see if the good guys have any hope in this world. Well, Vexing Bauble has arrived, which does turn on my shops. Is this a fight you'd like to fight, opponent? Okay, force pitching Brazen Borrower. You got it. That Metalcraft does matter. I'll take it. Glad I brought in my Static Prison. Floating a mana on the way out. Second Wasteland. All right, let's go. We're having a game. I'm rooting for all of my opponents this league because this deck is bullshit. Grim Monolith has appeared. I do have the Karn, and the Karn can wish for Portable Hole that I can cast with Planar Nexus. There is a plan to get out of this. Brainstorm found a fetch land. So they had Force Blue card, Wasteland, Wasteland, Null Rod, and now they do actually have to convert this into pressure somehow. Didn't shuffle. They liked all the cards off Brainstorm. Hate when that happens. My thoughts. I didn't bring in the Besejus, which would be very good here. I'll bring them in for game 3, now that we've seen Null Rod. Glaring Fleshraker. I think Urza's Tower is my best draw right now to get the Karn going. Brainstorm. No shuffle, no play after the Brainstorm. Do I sandbag this Lotus Petal? I can trigger Fleshraker the turn I play it. I'll hold this back. It's not like having Metalcraft does anything right now. Tamiyo. Okay, the clues don't work because of Null Rod. You have a 0-3. I've got a Monolith. I'm Monolith flooded at this point. I did ask for a Monolith, though, in my opening hand. I said a Monolith would make this hand really good. The deck delivered. I'm not allowed to complain. I take 0 in combat. Backup Null Rod. Alright, Fleshraker. It really is you, buddy. Coast to coast. Alright, I'll play this key. I'm still going to hold back the Lotus Petal. I need to draw an Urza's Tower or Urza's Workshop before they find their next Wasteland or next important piece of interaction. You got Sewer in the end step. Kept the card again. Multiple Null Rods. Now I feel even better about bringing in a pile of Besejus. Uh-oh. A real threat. Now we're in trouble. Didn't even attack with Tamiyo. That's awfully disrespectful of me and my ability to remove Null Rod. They have been hesitating like they're thinking about all of the spells I've cast recently. When you have Null Rod in play, stop thinking about stuff. Just protect the Null Rod. If it doesn't kill Null Rod, then don't worry about it. Still leaving Tamiyo back. Oof. Alright, I'm going to lose my Fleshraker here. That was a good Thoughtseize. Ooh, Brainstorm. This will flip Tamiyo, who can buy back the Force of Will or the Thoughtseize in the future. This is also a super real clock, because when this goes ultimate, Frog is lethal on that turn immediately. Another Fleshraker. I'll just keep playing Grim Monoliths. Tamiyo can buy back something like Force of Will this turn. Just plussed it, though. Their hand's already good. And they plussed it before combat, which means they could have drawn a card to decide if they want to plus this or minus it. And I think their hand just already has interaction in it. Another Monolith. Can't Thoughtseize me off Karn anymore. This game is over, though. I'm good. I respected the Null Rods, but not enough. Okay, 2 Besejus come in. Honestly, I think I might have still won that game if they didn't also have double Wasteland. I think I beat 1 Wasteland or double Wasteland, but not Force of Will. Like, there is a sequence there that I'm still okay. I also have no idea how to sideboard with this deck. I think Basalt Monolith is the weakest thing that also gets got by Null Rod, and Beseju is a mana source if I need to just play a land. Do you ever shave a key? Like, is 6 significantly different than 7 if I'm planning to play against a Null Rod? Okay, I will do that. Could be wrong. I have the Prison and a Seiju, 2 answers to Null Rod in my hand. No actual plan to play the game, but I think having answers to Null Rod is good enough. The deck is full of bangers. If my opponent keeps a stinker on the strength of Null Rod, this is something I can punish. Though if my opponent just has like Nether Goyf, Psychic Frog, Daze, Force of Will, this hand is pretty bad. I'm just gonna invest this Grim Monolith in the future. That was worth a Force of Will. We'll take it. I want this game to slow down, which is weird as the deck that I am, but the hand that I've wants the game to go kind of slower. And Thoughtseize can't break up a Seiju plus Planar Nexus. That Force pitched a Ponder. Versus Tower. Okay. I can put that in play. And just pass. I think if they Thoughtseize me, they're taking Static Prison, so I'm not playing out this Lotus Petal. Dumped a Tameo. Not interested. It's a little scary. Wasteland. You want Ancient Tomb or Tower? Ancient Tomb's gone. You got it. Correct to hide the Static Prison. Or the Planar Nexus. I'm just saying random words. Bear with me. Okay. Lotus Petal. I can play Mystic Forge around Daze here. Consign. Alright, that was powerful. And now my Planar Nexus is exposed. But we're in the banger zone. Every card I draw that does anything is powerful here. That wasn't it. But opponent hasn't done anything yet. I can temporarily answer Psychic Frog. This is a spot where Static Prison is a lot worse than Portable Hole. But if they play Murktide Regent, Static Prison's insane. The Rakarino. No payoff right now. I guess just putting it into play is fine. If I wait, they're more likely to find Thoughtseize or Counterspell, and this card is important. If they have Fatal Push in, and it's in their hand right now, then they are rewarded for their good sideboarding. But I don't think leaving it in my hand is better, given the range of what their deck could do. Yeah, that's fine. They had to have it. Looks like they're lining up a Murktide Regent, where a Static Prison is going to be insane. Right, there it is. Come on, deck. How about a banger? Fleshraker. Never going to complain about it. This is not colorless. I'm going to lead on Fleshraker, because if they are holding Force Blue card, I would actually prefer the Prison to resolve. Alright, Static Prison. Go get him. Wow, Force Negation pitching Daze. Okay. We got them empty. Now I just need a banger to go off with this Fleshraker. So many draws in the deck, but I am on a 3-turn clock. Thoughtseize irrelevant for the rest of the game now. There's basically no card I could cast that I wouldn't cast immediately. Manifold Key. Alright, let's go. Trigger. I'm going to get all the damage I could get as well. So this might come down to a race. I mean, we're racing already. It has come down to a race, is what I mean. I get one more draw step this game. That Force of Negation is pretty awkward because I bet if that was Force of Will, they would have countered Fleshraker, and then my Prison would have got the Murktide. Okay, Frog doesn't matter. I'm dead anyway. One big draw, the one ring off the top. Oh my god. Call it out. Just gotta hope that the card in their hand right now is not Consigned to Memory. I think that's the only card I care about. One ring. Oh my goodness. We are in business, kids. Draw a card. Planar Nexus. Manifold Key. Untap the ring. Ring. Rip it again. Stuff to do. I'll take it. Planar Nexus is an Urza land, and I have Metalcraft. Gajillions of mana. Monolith. Trigger. Candelabra. Trigger. The party is over, but I'm going to draw at least 3, 7, 8 more cards this game. They do have a card in hand, so Fleshraker can't attack here and get 2 damage through. Ring protection, pass the turn. And I'm holding an answer to Null Rod if they draw that. I'm actually kind of hoping they do draw Null Rod, so the tech lines up perfectly, and we get the punish. If they draw removal for Fleshraker, that's pretty effective here, because that is my win con. But I mean, a lot could happen when you draw 8 cards and have functionally infinite mana. Okay, pass the turn. Misty Rainforest, not helpful. Etching. Is there a 4-drop in their deck that's good here? What could they have? Black in the pool, you can't Thoughtseize me. Fatal Push, okay. So they did have that, which was one of the things I identified as useful. Now I have to win the game with 8 cards versus 0 resistance. Let's try to make it happen. I go to 4. The One Ring, well, that helps. Now I get another set of shots at it. Okay, I think I've already won, though. Yeah, all right. Karn. This is 8 mana. I just get Paradox Engine and the game is over. Karn, Wish for Engine. I have a 0 in my hand. It's over. I'm going to draw my deck. Plenty of mana. Banned an EDH, and for good reason. Now there is some clicking involved. Opponent said, "This is game, right?" in the chat. Yeah, it sure is. I'm about to draw my deck and have infinite mana. GG's. This actually was close. It took a One Ring rip when I was dead on board to do it, but it took them this Force, Consign, Fatal Push, Daze, Wasteland to even get to a point where it was competitive. Okay, we remain undefeated. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 3. I have Trips Rings. The borderless rings all next to each other like this looks like, I don't know, it looks weird. It's doing something to my brain. This does not actually have enough mana to do any of the things in my hand. I am going to mulligan. All right, and this one rips it real quick. I'm going to keep bottom 1 of the Planar Nexuses, and I'm going to Needle Wasteland on turn 1. Breathing Needle, Wasteland. This may or may not matter, but it is the card that I'm worried about. Ship it. Basic Island. You're already dead. Chalice on 0. Okay, 5 cards in my deck don't work anymore. What deck has Basic Island and Chalice of the Void in it? Trying to think what this even is. Is it Merfolk? Do people play Merfolk? Okay. I would like Fleshraker in play first, but I can dump my whole hand if I play Candle first. I'm going to start with Candle and see what happens. Okay. Untap the tower. Then Fleshraker. Here's the important one. Key. Trigger. Key untaps Candle. Spawn untaps Tower. And I think I'm going to make a spawn and draw a card. This will leave me with 2 mana, and I get to see 2 cards. I don't need another Planar Nexus. I drew another key. Well, I'll put it into play. That's damage, and it's mana in the future. Do need to top deck to keep this going, but this is quite the engine I have, and any card I draw is good from here. I could have waited a turn, I guess, on the Kozilek's command and just sent it for, like, a lot. Ooh, Tide Shaper with Kicker. Look at you. All right, that turns off both of these lands. Come on, big draw. Good card. Monolith. I mean, that's pretty good. Monolith unlocks the keys for mana. I don't need the Planar Nexus anymore. 1, 2, 3. I'll take key. Nope, don't need to do that. 1, 2, 3. Manifold key. Target creature can't be blocked. This is a really important interaction in the deck because, especially when you're chip-shotting with the Fleshraker, that adds up quick. Master. All right, can't block this Tide Shaper now. The race is on. End of turn, I am going to untap my Basalt Monolith with a spawn. Just invest in success. That works. It does stuff. Target creature can't be blocked. In with Fleshraker. A second Tide Shaper would be really bad, but I am about to start doing the thing where I make multiple constructs in a turn with the Candelabra that I mentioned in the deck tech. This doesn't do anything, right? No, okay, that's fine. You can't kick a Tide Shaper if you copy it. And it's like more damage, which I understand. But 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess I'm actually dead on board. So that might have done something if I don't draw a banger. Vexing Bauble. May or may not be a banger. It's a redraw. Okay, 3. Play Bauble. Deal 1 to you. And then draw a card immediately. Not where I want to be. Ancient Tomb. Okay. I guess I'm actually dead. All of these are unblockable. I can't remove my island. Yep, 1 life short. Cool. GG. Just checking in case there's like a trick that I missed, but I don't think there is. I'm out of spells, out of ways to draw cards. Even if I make 2 constructs this turn, it doesn't help me survive the onboard stuff. All right, cool. Playing against Merfolk, Static Prison definitely coming in. I think the Boseju's come in as well. Yeah, if I had just waited on that Kozilek's command, I think I win that game. I just got a little too aggro. Feeling myself, feeling like anything that you do in this deck is worth doing immediately, but with some patience, if I just like exile the Tide Shaper and make 3 spawns instead of 1 spawn and lose the Tide Shaper. Good to note. Do I shave the Opal, knowing that they might Chalice on 0 me? Is that something I care about? Opal is a way to cast the Static Prison I brought in and to channel this Boseiju I'm bringing in. I kind of just feel like the bangers are not cuttable. Like these 14 cards cannot be cut. Maybe even these 18 with Kozilek's command. Like how you want to access mana and what your flex slots are seem like the cards that matter. All right, submitting my deck. I can turn off Wasteland again on turn 1, but that doesn't help because I don't have the tower. I'm going to mulligan this. All right, here we go. I'm going to keep and bottom one of the tombs. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith. I resolved immediately. Hold on. All right, I almost cast Vexing Bauble before Lotus Petal, which is not the sequencing I want. Okay. Pass the turn. If they Wasteland me or mess with my Ancient Tomb, that's okay because the Saga still works. If they mess with my Saga, I'm not doing much. Tide Shaper, no kicker. Saga, and pass. Moment of truth. Can I make some constructs or not? Null Rod. Okay. That's fine. I was actually more worried about the Tide Shaper with kicker than I am about a Null Rod right now. Tower. I'll drop that. Even if they Wasteland or Tide Shaper now, I can just make a 5/5 and we're racing. Curse Totem. Activate abilities of creatures. Okay, so my spawns don't work. But that doesn't matter. Okay, race is on. Just going to bash for infinity. And is there a Pithing Needle? Okay, Needle can name Wasteland. It can name either Vial. Is there anything that I would just name here? And it's the most useful artifact by a lot. I just have to decide what I'm naming. I guess it is Wasteland. Okay, race is on. Didn't block, so they're still trying to race me. Or they could have a sweeper. If they have something like Dress Down or Hurkyl's Recall. I don't know if anyone's playing Hurkyl's Recall, but if they have it, it would be bad. Right, there's the Raker. Uh-oh, mana in the pool. What the shit is this? Okay, Flash Vig. When it enters, tap target creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. Shuffle Floodpit's Drowner and target creature with a stun counter into their owner's libraries. Okay, so this can very slowly and over multiple turns answer 1 construct token. And they're in chump block mode. Good news for me. I will take the damage because I have to play this Flesh Raker, and I'm going to sandbag this Ancient Tomb. I'm going to leave them guessing. You got to respect something over here. Phantasmal Image. All right. So they're going to make another Drowner and stun one of my other construct. It does buy another turn. You could even attack if you want. It has Vigilance. I did read that and then chose not to pay heed to it. Okay, my creatures are both unstunned now. I will use Lotus Petal to deal a damage. I know it gets countered. I'm not going to attack with Flesh Raker. I'd be pretty impressed if they can tempo me out, just chaining together a bunch of these Drowner things. These are bigger now. Oh, they can't activate the abilities because of their Curse Totem, so they couldn't get rid of this anyway. Okay, these Flash and Vigilance. I think I am going to block. Oh, I should have blocked with a spawn too. I forgot that was even there. All right, I'm at 6. Could be at 3. But they have to block at least one of these this turn or they lose. All right, now my creatures are even bigger. Yeah, if I get tempoed out because I forgot to block with my useless spawn token, I'm going to be bummed. But once again, not playing my best, I think is, or not playing 100%. I'm doing enough to showcase the deck, but it is fair to say that I'm not at the best I've ever been right now. True name Nemesis. All right, yeah, that one, I definitely wish I had 3 extra life, but I'll just block this turn. Oh, no attack. Why not? That's free. Okay, weird. Okay, so they have to chump with the creature that can chump. True name will absorb one of these attacks, and they basically need to put 2 creatures into play next turn. Every time they come up with 1 creature, they can chump block for a turn. If they come up with 2 creatures, they can actually attack. Oh, that's really good. Wish I had 9 life, dumbass. All right, now I've lost. Okay, yeah, good game. Totally on me. And literally just having 1 more life than I do would be the difference here. This doesn't do anything. I could draw a card, I guess. Yeah, if I was at 9 instead of 6 right now, they couldn't attack unless they come up with another creature. And if that other creature isn't True Name, I can exile it and win. Are there any cards I could draw that matter? If I draw Karn right now, I can't tap 3 Ancient Tombs and get the lock piece in. I could draw the One Ring. All right. Target player scries X, draws a card. Target player makes 0 spawns. Me for both. One Ring off the top. That's a workshop, and we're dead. All right, cool. GG. I just missed a block, and it cost me everything, but stabilizing with double True Name versus double 8/8 Construct was pretty sweet. On to the next round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I am on the play with the first truly insane Exploder hand that we've had yet. I will keep. This is a classic force check hand. There's no bauble. Opponent went to 5. I wonder what that means. Is this the mirror match? Would be pretty cool if it was. Monolith. Key. Untap. I'm just going to shove Karn here. If this is the mirror, this will end it. If there are any combo deck, this will end it. All right, they mulled a 5 to find Force Ponder. Against BoshNRoll? Do you know who I am? I'm the Island Ponder guy. That's fine. It was correct this time. I wonder if that means they have Entomb Reanimate Force blue card. That's a hand that I also would mulligan to if I had the option. Okay, a double Flush Raker situation. I guess I will cast one of them and hope that I don't get Archon of Cruelty right now, because that would sweep me into the dust. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hook it to my veins. Okay. This makes sense why the hand was kept and what they did. It just happened to have Force blue card in it. All right, maybe don't have the Reanimate. Just like take 1 breath for 1 second. They have Animate dead, but this land came in tapped. That would be great. Dumped an Entomb. I appear to be getting a turn. Come on, big money. Where's the Saga? Happy to see that. I'm going to play this other Flesh Raker and leave up all my mana and activities for next turn. Now I'm less worried about Archon of Cruelty because I have a spawn to sacrifice. And we will see what the board looks like next turn. The fuck is this? Oh, wow. They do have Animate dead. That's what they're going for here. That is a extremely aggressive jam on that. I guess I could have untapped my key with that spawn instead of this, but it is the same. Okay, Animate dead kills 1 of the Flesh Rakers. All right, that was a super tight Fatal Push. They are using every part of their Buffalo here. And a big draw, even just like a spell to cast, keeps me in this game. The land is not it. There's this tower. Target creature can't be blocked. Get in. They said in the chat, secret mode on key activated. This is the mode I've been using as much as anything else this league. I'm going to make my construct in response to this trigger and hope they don't have another Fatal Push. They do take 1 from this construct arriving. Trigger, lose construct. I take 5 damages. Okay, I'm at 5. Brainstorm. Now, it's honestly kind of gross here because my opponent had Entomb, Animate Dead, Force blue card, and it's still close. Like, I could draw the One Ring this turn and still just pull away with this. I think going to 3 to untap Monolith is worth it right now, because this is the turn where everything matters. One Ring, Fleshraker. All right, we lose. Close one, though. Okay, I now know that this deck has Null Rod in it, and Static Prison on Archon of Cruelty probably would have gone a long way that game. Very Macabre, kind of my go-to spread of cards I cut, because I don't know any better. Needle on Wasteland. I care about that, but less than I care about Archon of Cruelty. This is what I'm doing. Okay, this is a pretty strong start. I will keep it. This is the interactive hand. Okay, how many spells do I want to cast this turn? And how much damage do I want to take to do it? All right, I'll play Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Vexing Bauble, Manifold Key, and pass. Basic Island. That doesn't cast Entomb. It does cast Consigned to Memory. I'll play the Workshop and pass. Planar Nexus turns on Shop next turn for an extra mana. Wasteland. What do we want here? Please take my Ancient Tomb. Okay, we got to my turn where I now have this Grim Monolith available. Nexus is my off-color source. I think taking the damage to protect the goods is worth it here. Now I can Kozilek's Command for a lot. And it looks like they might be building up to a Harbinger of the Seas. They just haven't used this Wasteland or spent any mana for 2 turns. Ponder, Underground Sea, Black Source revealed. Candelabra of Tawnos is a card I have now. That's pretty cool. All right, I'll just play that. And whatever, I'll play out the Nexus. If they Wasteland that clears the way for Ursa Sagas. If they, right now, with 4 mana, play... Alright, well, time to cast a big spell. I was about to say if they, right now, for 4 mana, play Harbinger of the Seas with Consign backup. That's a game plan. I don't think I want to take 1,000,000 from these Ancient Tombs just to be hyper greedy. But I'm going to command to Scry X and make Dinguses. If they have Consign, they can get me Hellbent here. Yeah, that's fine. That's like 4 damage I didn't need to take. But now the coast is clear. I tap them out of Consign on the turn where it matters. But they could play another Underground Sea and still have Consign up, or they could reanimate this troll and put me on a clock. Alright, they're done. Shields are down. Time to draw a big one deck. You're full of big ones. Let's get paid. Big one, alert. Bow, bow, bow. I don't know what that sound was. Don't ask about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna leave my Ancient Tombs and my key up for this One Ring that I know is going to resolve because Vexing Bauble has Mind Twisted my opponent. And now I have protection for the turn, which means Ancient Tomb doesn't hurt me. Key, untap, ring. Let's do something here. Come on. Or not. That's fine. I'll do something next turn. And I'll just use my floating mana to untap Grim Monolith. Reanimating Troll. Go for it. That's a clock. And there's also mana up. Alright, let's draw cards and hope I win. Double Kozilek's Command. Ursa's Tower could exile this troll. At least got that going for me if everything else here fails. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 10? How do we get to 10? Oh, this one is 4. 4, 6, 10, alright. Cool. That's a lot of mana. I was just checking. Alright. Alright, untap my One Ring. See what happens here. Very Macabre and a backup ring. Okay. Lots of mana. Candelabra, untap these. Being careful with my life total on the Ancient Tombs, even though they are plus mana. 6, 7, 8, 9. Kozilek's Command, exile this jerk, and make creatures. Okay, they just asked if they care about this for content, and I don't, so yeah, I've done this enough times. If you think you're dead, you can scoop. Okay, I do have these Silent Gravestones that I didn't board in. Maybe I'm supposed to. I mean, it's very obviously a graveyard hate card. What does this deck look like when it settles into control mode? Because, like, Very Macabre, Silent Gravestone, these are cards for Reanimator. Static Prison and Besage You. it is asking a lot right now to both respect hate pieces and respect their proactive plan. I guess that is the squeeze of playing against a combo deck. I got to make 2 cuts if I'm going to do this. The key is really important, but like it is the card that I think is weakest is Lotus Petal next. Focus on lands and Candelabra to do all this. All right, that might have. This is where you would want to talk to an expert to really get the details on how to do that, because I don't know. Hands gas, keeping it. If I get Entomb Reanimated, I am behind. Thoughtseize. I wish that was Nethercoif. Okay, they could choose to take the Grim Monolith and cut off the development, or they could start working on the payoffs. Because that would have been a giant turn 1 attempt at something. Took the Karn. All right. And Thoughtseize and Tomb Reanimate is also a sequence. Oh. Hello. I could just play Tower Silent Gravestone here. Okay. I'm just going to try to do the most. Let's see if and where they choose to interact with me. Maybe I'll just Gravestone and get my mana. Like, I can play around Daze. Like, Daze isn't a card I have to lose to here. And if they know I'm holding the One Ring, maybe Silent Gravestone will jack them up long enough for me to work through it. This gives me a window to just draw Vexing Bauble. Though, of course, if they just have Null Rod in their hand, that makes it harder. I do have all of my answers to Null Rod in, though. I'm kind of glad the One Ring isn't dealing 1 damage to me a turn. That would have been a real clock that I have to respect. Cycling Troll. We know that is going to stay in the graveyard at least. Got Underground Sea, Ponder. Shuffled the Ponder. I'm looking for a Boseiju. I will deploy this Vexing Bauble, though. That does some stuff. I don't think I'm going to play out this Planar Nexus. It's really important to the overall plan, because it's my colored source for the Boseiju or the Static Prison. KGC, you know me. Okay, I could just play the One Ring right now and try to buy a turn, as Karn could answer the Null Rod right now. Do I just win? I mean, there's representing Consign, though, a card that I actually am pretty scared of. All right, I'm going to play the One Ring out and just buy myself a turn against Psychic Frog. Yeah, maybe that's wuss mode, but Karn just suddenly gave me a game plan. If they tap out of Consign, I think I just win pretty much on the spot. But this is a whole turn's worth of brainstorm and development where they're more likely to have Consign. Okay, One Ring happens. Ooh, Command. This might draw out a Consign, actually. How much mana do I have? 6, 7, 8, 9. 6. I would have 2 left. 1, 2. Yeah, I'm 1 short of doing everything I want to do here. But if I exile Frog and make creatures. Okay, I'm fighting over the Frog. That worked. That might just mean they don't care. Or it might mean they don't have it. Well, Karn's in. Let's see if this tech is going to pay out. Get the Portable Hole. Filter the white. Moment of Truth. Undercity Sewer. Is this a desperate dig? And they can't counter Portable Hole. They can counter the ETB trigger of Portable Hole. Kind of a weird anti-consign, but still consign level interaction. And it basically has to be consign, or if they have something like Spell Pierce, that would work at this point. We're in. Trigger. Wow. Okay. Draw a card. Dig. The Macabre. Mana. Untap Ring. Dig. Just trying to go off while I still can. Key. Draw with Ring again. They said they should have brainstormed in response to Karn for the Consign, but they forgot to do that. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, if Consign is your out to Portable Hole anyway, then keeping the Karn off the board is just better than that. But I'm still in trouble if, like, Hole Trigger gets consigned here. But, yeah, okay. Portable Hole technology, breaking out of Null Rod, messed up stuff, onto the final round. I'm on the draw in the final round. Positive Records on the line, playing for the bread and butter 4-1. My hand does not do anything. I'm going to mulligan it. Not enough mana there. This one is same problem. It's got Vexing Bauble, though. But let's go to 5. I've won on 3 before, so Come on now. Okay, what? How many mana sources are in my deck? Got 19 lands, 4 petal, 23. Mox Opal doesn't count. So we got 23 cards in the deck. One of them's in my hand, 22 draws. I could get this monolith on the stack on turn 1 out of 53 cards. I don't like my chances. Mulligan to 4. All right, I mean, this one's got a plan. Like Needle on Wasteland, Saga, Needle, Wasteland, Ancient Tomb. That's 3 cards with a plan built in. I think Command is the card I'd like to keep on top of that, because that one like interacts and stuff. Yeah, right. It's not pretty, but it works. And if they are a slow control deck, this might just beat them. Oh, I like that one too. Everything Needle. Yeah, fetching in response. Ridiculous Archive is probably Nadu. Could just be pure breakfast. Oh, main deck Consign. Never mind. This is definitely Dreadnought. And if they're dumping Consigns here against the colorless mana Multifor, I think that means they either already have one or they're so desperate to find their second land that they didn't think about it that much. Did not shuffle Ponder. They have an island. Let's see if they stifle this chapter 2 of Urza Saga. And this is probably a deck that also has Dress Downs in it. Trigger. Right, they didn't counter that. I will at least make some constructs here. I can answer a Dreadnought if they shove one. You're in there, fella. And consign the Dreadnought in rather than fight over my Saga. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. I get a 2/2. Workshop showing up a little late here. Okay, how do I sequence this turn? I can definitely Vexing Bauble, exile Dreadnought. I think I search for... I can't make a construct here if I'm going to answer the Dreadnought this turn. All right, I'll just float mana to start. I could get the Opal for extra mana. I could get the key for upside on future draws. I think it's Opal. Opal, play Bauble. This is the important one. I could have just tutored a Bauble, but I did this instead. Okay, exile, and I'm going to dig for cards here. I think that's more important than constructs. Target player scries X, draws 1, exile target creature. Me, you. I'm going to overpay because I just want to see more cards. Tower is a lot of mana. That's not what I'm looking for. I have 4. That's the magic number to hit payoffs. There's a card. Let's go. Okay. I am ahead on board. They've used 2 main deck consigns already, but not for the reason that perhaps they should have. I think if my opponent mauls to 4 and goes Urza Saga, Needle, Wasteland, 2 cards left in hand, that I am going to hold up Consign to memory and just try to not die to that. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to play Fleshraker. I've seen Dreadnought play usually 3 consigns in the main. They could play 4 if they're hyper in tune with the meta. But knowing 2 are gone already is pretty nice. Still have to think about Dress Down at least a little bit. They can stifle Karn activation. Like there's usually a split between Stifle and Consign in these decks. Okay, gotta pass this turn. I invested in the Fleshraker just to see if we can sniff out a Consign to memory. Still just shoving Dreadnoughts at me. Fascinating. Okay. The strength to me of the Dreadnought deck is that it is a potent control deck that gets to play wonky cards like Consign to memory, but also pay out. But you have to be willing to use them as Consign to memory sometimes. I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available. That's Karn plus 3. I could just get Ensnaring Bridge and then set up for next turn. I could get Portable Hole and just delete this Dreadnought. That's pretty nasty, actually. That's really disgusting. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Karn, trigger. And they can't counter it. Get Portable Hole. Don't even need to filter mana, just have a white source this time. Take that Dreadnought away. Attack for 7. There might be a flashier way to do this with Mystic Forge card. Maybe there's a way to actually win this turn, but I don't think I need to do that. I'm just going to play for stability. Okay, my Multifor just beat triple Consign to memory in game 1, but not... I think I'm not trying to shit on my opponent. I'm trying to educate my viewers. Like seeing Consign plus Dreadnought in hand, you're like, hell yeah, we're doing it. But you have to be able to adjust the information you have. Like if they had just put those 3 Consigns in their hand and never tap mana, I don't win that game. Okay, Boseiju and Static Prison. These things kill Dreadnought and any other hate cards that might come in. We saw white mana, which is concerning. Dreadnought can be blue-black, blue-white, or a splash of Esper. And if they have Meticulous Archive in the deck, does that rule anything out? I don't think so. We only saw blue and white that game, but if they have Doorkeeper Thrall, that affects the damage off Fleshraker. It means that Portable Hole doesn't work. The ring doesn't give me protection anymore, which is a big deal. This is like pretty close to, I think, the Nightmare matchup among normal decks. Like if you were to build a deck where you're just like specifically F Mystic Forge combo, I'm going to build 60 from the ground up to beat this deck, you could probably do something more powerful. But in terms of just like decks that have lands and spells in them and are reasonable across the Legacy field, Dreadnought is probably among the worst for Mystic Forge combo. Tamiyo, there you are. Command. All right, I'll play the Nexus. That is my colored source, as we've discussed many times already. Shit. Oh, there goes that. My hand just got a lot worse. Maybe I'm supposed to lead on tower. Monolith. I'm going to play Urza's Workshop now and try to build up to a spot where I might have multiple Urza lands in play when it matters. Yeah, I think I should have just led on tower, though. The Nexus just does so much. A Saga can make constructs at this point of the curve. Grabbing keys out of these things matters. Hardcast Days, sure. That's mostly fine. My hand is extremely stable mana heavy, as long as I'm not under significant pressure. Ugh. The second Wasteland really good. Well, let's do that again. Cashed in a clue in the end step, keeping the cards flush. This is how they're supposed to play the game. This is the play pattern that just picks me apart. It's not about dealing 12 quickly. It's about keeping the hand flush and making sure I don't break through. They can flip Tamiyo here if they want to. I'm 1 mana short thanks to their multiple wastelands of killing her in response. There she goes. Vexing Bauble. I think getting that into play is worth more to me than making a construct is. Right now the shields are down. They would have to force this. We're in. I don't have Metalcraft or else this would tap for 3. Coming up a little short on that. Prismatic Ending. Okay, I'll draw a card. Another Vexing Bauble. Good stuff. Plus Tamiyo. 5 cards in their hand. Abhorrent Oculus. Cool. Alright, well, you have that card. That will kill me very quickly, and I need to find a solution. I'd love to draw a Grim Monolith this turn. That's not that. Okay, is there any clever thing I can do right now? Because Tamiyo can buy back Prismatic Ending and get them another turn. These all tap for 1. Yeah, exposing that Planar Nexus on turn 1 was a huge mistake. Just any other land that I have available to me being dead instead would be so much better. Opal or Candelabra? And Candelabra is worth more mana than Opal if I get Metalcraft, and they're both worth 0 if I don't get Metalcraft. There's a Vexing Bauble in my hand already. Alright, Candelabra, Vexing Bauble. I could have just shoved one of these 4s here. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. But I think having the Bauble around, investing in the future. Force Negation that, pitching Force of Will. Alright. Kozilek's Command. I'm going to make a spawn and exile their Manifest. Okay, that happened. They had manifested a Ponder. Okay, they still plus Tamiyo, didn't pick up Prismatic Ending, didn't pick up Force of Negation. They are going for the win. Already had a Prismatic Ending, perfect. What else is in the hand, though? A Consign, I lose. Oh, suddenly, from the top rope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 ring. They're going to need 2 Consigns here. Force of Negation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 ring. That one's in. Draw a card. Okay, I mean, they're about to draw literally half their deck, but we'll see if that's good enough. Yeah, here we go. 20 cards in hand. That's why they didn't buy back the force last turn because they had it already. B-Storm. Yeah, if they just wasteland my planar nexus and they've now drawn more than half their deck. Some builds only have 3 wastelands. Blue-white tends to lean more on them, though, than the 3-color builds do. There it is. All right. Goodbye, planar nexus. Might as well attack. Getting's good. Come on in. Yeah, no blocks. I take 0. They get to manifest, and they have brainstormed, so they probably just manifested a Dreadnought. Draw some cards, unless they stifle this. Static Prison, Glaring Fleshraker. None of these solve any of my problems. Okay, they got me. Just checking my options here. I'm not going to bring in Dismember for a Boronoculus. I don't care that much about that thing. Pithing Needle on Wasteland would have actually changed that game a lot. Pithing Needle on Tamiyo, also really good. I think I'm going to shave a Lotus Petal for a Pithing Needle. Let's try this. Okay. I'll keep this. This is a turn 2 Karn. And I have backup Nexus if they do have Wasteland. Okay, Nexus Bauble. Let's go. This is the busted start. I don't know if I even own Planar Nexus in real life. I'm not sure if I invested in these. I have learned that Urza's Workshop is one of these random nonsense $67 cards on Magic Online, just because of how cards are released on Moto. Oh, that's effective. Oh. Well, here's that one. Fleshraker. I can play around Daze this way, which is why I'm going Fleshraker first. And we've seen multiple Force of Negations, which hit Karn but don't hit Fleshraker. Trigger. And now with a 2/2 in play, they can't just like sit around and draw cards. They have to actually cast a removal spell or play a blocker or something. Cycling Lorien revealed. All right. Getting Tundra. Swords to Plowshares. You got it. All right, Vexing Bauble off the top for the win. Grim Monolith. See if we could get a fight over this. Didn't fall for it. They seem to think about it, though. Well, they have to force me here. Oh, let's make them do it. Karn. I still haven't played a land. If Karn gets an artifact, Urza's Workshop becomes really good. Yeah, they did have a force. Workshop. Just untap my Monolith and pass. They're down to 2 cards in hand. And I've got nothing going on. Who can dig out of this faster? They pass without a play. No land, no spell. Pithing Needle. I'm going to name Wasteland. I think just having the mana safely under me is worth so much here, and I'll play out the other Nexus. My deck has the ability to draw 3, 5, 7 cards out of nowhere. I think just having the extra mana in play is a fine investment. Ooh, uh-oh, an Ophidian. That's dangerous. Okay, investing. That would have been a good turn to find a banger. Yeah, Curie draws an extra card. If they have Dreadnought here, we might just lose. I am going to block. I don't want them having more cards. Come on, deck. Okay. Vexing Bauble. On the stack. This would be a good thing to consign if they have consign, though they could ignore it and consign the next thing. Yeah, consign's really good. Just against the deck in general. And they're about to start drawing multiple cards a turn. Maybe even 12 cards. Land number 3, this turns on the Dreadnought play, but it does tap them out under Vexing Bauble if they do it. Okay, here it comes. This is where it starts to fall apart. They're drawing extra cards now, and didn't make any plays. Yikes. All right, now I'm going to hold back a little bit. I don't want them to be emboldened to shove a Dreadnought, because I actually do lose to that and don't have a plan for it. And if they have to think about anything, that's better than thinking about nothing. Wasteland. Got that one beat. Don't have that one beat. So they're going to hit me for 12 and draw 12 cards right now. Deeply disgusting. All right. Bad news. Here comes their entire life into their hand. They do have to discard from this one. It's not quite Tamiyo, but it's close. This is the first time I've actually seen this happen. I've played decks with Curie and Dreadnought in them before, and I've played against Curie before. This is the first time anyone's actually drawn 12 against me. And it feels as bad as you'd imagine. They discarded, Dress Down, Plow, Dreadnought, Boronoculus. Well, that doesn't help. All I can do here is draw off Bauble and hope that this draw is good and that their 7 cards in hand don't contain a removal spell. All right. Ran out of juice there against our natural predator in the environment, Dreadnought. A positive record put up, once again, crushing all the frog decks. The 2 decks we lost to were blue tempo decks that could attack our mana. And the Merfolk loss, I could have played better in both of the games. There was a identifiable point of difference. Sometimes it's just a punt. Like, there's obviously a correct play and I did something wrong. And other times it's like, I could have done this one way or the other, and the other way would have been better. In the Merfolk match, there was one of each. Both, oops, I just forgot that was there, and also could have sequenced a little slower, played it a little more stably. Dreadnought just really good against the deck, though. At least 3 main deck consigned memories, a quick clock, the ability to draw 12 plus cards through multiple fashions. Both Kiri and Tamio do that. Wasteland to keep your mana out from under you. White removal that can clear Vexing Bauble to turn your counterspells back on. I'm glad we got to showcase that matchup, even if it was from the wrong side of it. This deck's real nasty, though. They saw me win off a mulligan to 3, where I also got Thoughtseized and then just won easily. That's how the league started. The mana is really insane. Planar Nexus brings it all together. Planar Nexus both turning on Urza's Tower, Urza's Workshop, and enabling all these colored cards in the sideboard. Doing a lot of work here. If you have one Wasteland to use against this deck, Planar Nexus might be the spot to point it at in terms of counterplay. How to mulligan, how to sideboard. Those are skills that you will grow as you play more of the deck. I'm not going to play more of the deck. I hope I don't play this deck again. I've played it twice now in its current form, and I hope that the format looks very different before I have to think about this deck again. But glad to showcase the deck that won Eternal Weekend. Congrats to Calvin and the other players who found the sick tech in the sideboard to cover the few gaps the deck already had. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.